Welcome in, everybody. We got Monday Night Football, not one, but two games for you guys. If you come here often, you can see already that my man JJ is not on the screen with me. He was feeling under the weather, but you guys didn't think that I wasn't going to come through with two games on the schedule, did you? Absolutely not. I'm going to give you guys some quick analysis, and we're going to have a parlay at the end. Let's go. Welcome back in, everybody. We're going to go game by game. So the first game, Detroit and Seattle, and then after I finish going over that, we're going to go over Miami and Tennessee, and I'll give you guys the parlay at the end. So for the first game, Detroit and Seattle, the Detroit passing attack is where we'll start. Seattle mixes up their coverages a lot. They don't have one coverage that they run more so than other things, at least comparative to the rest of the league. So there's not much of an edge there, but the edge can be found in the positions that normally succeed against them, which is normally the slot position and any routes out of the backfield. Those are the two alignments that have the highest target rate for Seattle. Top 10 in slot percentage and top 1 actually in backfield targets. So the ones we're going to want to target there are Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs. Those are the receiving targets for the Lions. Now on the Seahawks side for their passing attack, the Lions run a lot of man coverage and single high coverage. The ones to target there are either DK Metcalf, who dominates air yards, as expected, or Jackson Smith-Njigba, who dominates yards after the catch. The issue here is the Detroit Lions actually allow a decently high air yard share, but not yards after contact, which makes you think, oh, I'll take DK Metcalf. And then you go look at where they succeed or fail in defending in terms of alignment, and you'll see that they are one of the worst teams against the slot in terms of target percentage in the NFL, which should favor Jackson Smith-Njigba. So the way I'd attack this is DK Metcalf receiving yards, Jackson Smith-Njigba receptions. Outside of those two props, I wouldn't target much else. Now let's go to the run game. Seattle's run game has actually been solid so far, but the issue that I have is they haven't really faced that tough of matchups. And although their stuff rate is high, their explosive rush rate allowed is also pretty high, which makes me think, again, Jahmyr Gibbs. David Montgomery is the guy you put in there when you say, I want 5 to 10 yards for as many plays as possible, but against a team with a good stuff rate, that's not ideal. So when you go and see a team, that team allows it a high explosive rush rate, and Jahmyr Gibbs is the change of pace back, you kind of have to think it's a Jahmyr Gibbs game. Now let's go to the other side of the ball. We got Seattle's run offense going against Detroit's run defense, and they're in trouble because Seattle loves to run the zone concept in terms of their rushing concept that they prefer, both with Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet. The issue there is Detroit Lions are by far the best defense in yards per carry allowed and success rate allowed against zone concept run schemes. So it's not in their favor. They're away. They're probably going to be playing from behind, and Kenneth Walker isn't 100%. This is his first game back from injury. So the run game just looks like it's going to be a disaster for them when you look at the matchup. So that's everything that you need to know in the Detroit and Seattle game. Now let's get into the Tennessee and Miami game. We'll start with the pass game. Will Levis obviously has not been great, but he gets a Miami defense that has been kind of weird. What I really want to target is the fact that they run a lot of too high coverage, and the one who gets the most efficiency, at least for Tennessee against too high, is DeAndre Hopkins. The issue with that is DeAndre Hopkins has been coming back from injury for the start of the season, hasn't been playing a lot of snaps. He got 8 routes run in week 1, 23 in week 2, and 20 in week 3. However, the coach came out between weeks heading into this week 4 and said he wants DeAndre Hopkins to play 50 snaps in this game. There's been some talk among different beat reporters. Some say they think he meant 50% of snaps. Some say he meant 50 snaps. If he meant 50 snaps, and DeAndre Hopkins is the best weapon here, the value on his lines are absolutely beautiful. So DeAndre Hopkins is the one I target. The only other one I think to target in this matchup from a receiving standpoint is running back Tyjae Spears. Too high looks are generally favorable for running back receiving. And plus, Tyjae Spears has quietly been really good in the receiving game despite nursing some injuries and some weird usage. But coach has said that he wants Tyjae Spears and Tony Pollard to be splitting touches 50-50. So if he's not lying, Tyjae Spears could be in for a surprisingly good game. He's been flying under the radar, but in primetime, that can't happen. If he gets his touches, he should have a great game. Now for the Miami side, things get really, really weird because no Tua. Skylar Thompson been in the last few games, but now we can't look at Skylar Thompson either because he's not starting this game either. Tyler Huntley, formerly of the Baltimore Raiders, will be starting for today's game. This is his first game starting for a new team, so all the data gets a little bit weird. All of Miami's receiving data, or not data, their betting props is super low. However, what I think we can target is the first read share because Tennessee also runs too high. And Tyler Huntley, when he was in Baltimore, had a well above average rate of targeting the first read on plays. Tyreek Hill has the highest first read share against too high in the NFL, or not in the NFL, on the team. So I feel like he's the most sensible target. Usually, at least last year with Tua, Jalen Waddle was the man to target against too high defenses. But obviously, things have changed. This is a new season, new quarterback. A lot of this offensive scheme changes a lot too. So Tyreek Hill is probably the one you want to target. However, if you're asking me what I'm betting on in terms of the receiving side of that game, I'm not betting anything in the receiving side. Now let's talk run game. The Tennessee Titans love the man gap concept, both with Pollard and Tajay Spears. And again, the coach says when Tajay Spears is healthy, and again, we don't know how healthy he is right now, he wants them to be a 50-50 backfield. The big thing here is Miami is quite literally the worst defense in the NFL against the man gap concept. When you look at yards per carry, they're allowing almost 6.2 yards per carry. Some of that has been some explosive rushes, which, in my opinion, fits more Tajay Spears. And again, I would think he's getting more touches. So Tajay Spears could be in for a very big game relative to his betting lines. If he doesn't get his touches, Pollard will have a lot of success himself. But this is a very plus matchup for the Tennessee Titans run game. Going to the other side, the Tennessee Titans, they allow a lot of explosive rushes. Their explosive rush rate is really high. And when I tell you, think of an explosive rusher in the NFL, if you're thinking anybody but Devon Achane, then you need to go and watch some more football because that is what he's really known for, even if it's just his second year. And he's balanced pretty well between man gap concept or zone concept in terms of which one Miami has him running. So there's not a huge edge there, but just targeting the explosive rush rate and asking for explosive rush yards from the debatably the most explosive rusher in the NFL, I feel like it makes a lot of sense. So on both sides, the rushing matchup is a plus match. So just to break everything down for everybody real quick, in the Detroit and Seattle game, Jackson Smith and Jigba receptions, DK Metcalf receiving yards, Jahmyr Gibbs, pretty much everything are the three props that I targeted in that game. As far as the other game, everything Tajay Spears, DeAndre Hopkins, as assuming the coach wasn't lying about his usage, should be in for a solid game, and Devon Achane. You could mix in Tyreek Hill if you really want to bet on a passing prop on the Miami side, but I personally would not. So, time for the parlay. On Sunday Night Football, me and JJ were on here, and we were banging the table saying it's tight end day. Mark Andrews dropped a pass for a big gain and then disappeared. Today, that's not going to happen. It's running back day, and we're laddering 50, 75, 100 yards. Tajay Spears, 50 yards. Again, the coach really wants to get him involved, and it's a great matchup for him both on the rushing and receiving side. I'm projecting about 10 carries, 4 receptions. Again, assuming the coach isn't lying. If he gets that, he has to get 50 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs, 75 yards. Again, he's the change of pace back going against a defense that has a high stuff rate and explosive rush rate allowed, which means they're probably going to stuff David Montgomery, and the change of pace back is going to allow for big chunk plays from Jahmyr Gibbs, and they allow a high check down rate. So I just think it fits Jahmyr Gibbs very well, both on the rushing and receiving side. And to wrap everything up, we're going Devon Achane, 100 plus rushing plus receiving yards. He's hit this in every game with at least 10 carries except for 2. The Bills game and I think the Seahawks game, one of those games he only missed by 10 yards. So I'm not betting against that hit rate. This is going for 3 for 3. I'm done. I know JJ isn't here and he's sharp as hell. But maybe the bad luck was just having 2 of us on the screen. Now that there's only 1 of us on the screen, maybe that's what we needed. This is gets the boost on FanDuel, so make sure you lock that in. Make sure you like, subscribe if you're tailing, and appreciate all the support. Next video, I'm sure JJ will be here with me. But until then, enjoy sweating this one out with me. Good luck to everybody, and I'll see you guys next video.